Welcome, Aries Ascendant, Aries Rising. I am glad to be here with you. How are you doing? I hope that you are keeping peaceful. I hope that you are finding ways to stay grounded. I hope that you are finding ways to discover deeper places of peace within you. I want to invite all of you to a full moon ceremony. Even though we can't physically connect, we're going to energetically connect. So at the end of this video, I am going to give some specific instructions and more details to the invite. It won't cost you anything. You don't have to do anything. This is nothing more than me reaching out and saying, hey, I want to help. I want to be a part of you energetically. And so I'm going to use the powers that be that come through me to reach out to you and for all of us to come together as a family, all astrology family. So for Aries Ascendant, Aries Risings, I'm going to spend time talking about this full moon that's coming up. I'm going to give you the dates, the degrees. We're going to talk about where it likely happens in your chart. If you don't know anything like that, if you don't have degrees, if you don't have a chart, if you don't even know anything about astrology, that is totally fine. I'm going to talk about this stuff in ways where you can relate. I'm going to talk about it in day-to-day terms. And every now and then I might throw some astrological stuff in there, but don't let that deter you. Don't let that scare you. That is the theme of 2020. Be open to learning. All right. So we're going to talk about the retrogrades. We've got a Saturn and a Pluto and a Jupiter going retrograde and Venus going retrograde. We have all this happening. Pluto already went retrograde, but we're going to talk about the areas in your life, right? And I know all this because I can see the areas of your chart, and each bucket, each slice of pie in that chart, it resonates with an area of someone's life, right? Like my deep relationships, one-on-ones, love lives, or whether I'm my school life, my learning, my beliefs, my income, my money, my health, my goals, my dreams, right? All these things you can tell by looking at someone's chart. So we've just lit the sacred sage, which we use to clear and cleanse the space, to release all that we do not desire, to let go of stress, to let go of all the external stuff in the world, to leave the fear at the door, because there is no place for it here. We are connecting to the exact opposite. The opposite of fear is love. We're connecting to source. We're connecting in with unity. We are connecting in with wholeness. Okay? There is no division or separation here. In reality, we are all one. So now we're going to light some sacred cedar and pull in the higher frequencies. So focus, Aries, on the flame. You're good with the flame. You are the flame. So here we got the sacred cedar. You ever smelled sacred cedar? Cedar. Sacred cedar, the natives consider it very sacred. Cedar and sweetgrass. The cedar pulls in the higher frequencies. And that's what we want to attune ourselves to, right? That's how we want to lift ourselves, lift each other by tuning into those higher frequencies, right? Resonating with the higher vibratory ranges. Cedar, I'm going to give it one more shot of fire, one more shot of heat. There's something about this that I feel just an energetic release automatically as soon as I smell this. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. So Aries, let's dip into your chart. Let's dip into your all astrology. We're going to talk about the full moon, which happens on the 7th of May. It's just a couple of days away. I've been swamped, and so I'm praying that I get these edited and out to you guys before then. I do have a full moon video out, so hopefully you've already been able to watch that, because I believe I included the invite there. And if you wanted to be part of the ceremony, why is this full moon important? It is a mixture. All full moons are typically a time of releasing. It's a time of a waxing, of a building of emotions, right? All the crazy shit that happens during full moons, it's real, right? You talk to anybody who deals with, paramedics, EMTs, fire department, the police, right? A public servant. They experience highly, highly energized, fiery, emotional, hot, too hot to touch, too hot to handle events. So when the moon gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it helps to escalate. And moon is our emotions. Moon is water. Emotions are water. Our feelings are our power. So instead of being victims of the feelings, victims of our fear, instead of allowing them to control us, we understand the energetic cycles and we learn how to work with them. What astrology is, in the simplified version, it's nothing more than the cycles, right? And the energies that occur within these cycles, right? They have a beginning, they have an ending, they have a waxing, they have a waning. And so when you realize what the potentiality is within a cycle, you better align your plans, your intent with those cycles. I mean, it's very logical, actually. It's not like hocus pocus. It's the way of the metaphysician, believe it or not. People think it's all this black magic and craziness, and it's just understand energy, okay? So with you in your life for the full moon, this May 7th full moon, this is called the Buddha full moon, the Wesak full moon. I'd imagine has lots of names in different circles. The power is Scorpio energy, all right? And Scorpio energy is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto, everybody knows, a key word for Pluto, well, if you don't know, now you know, is power, intense power. Because it runs deep. It's at a soul-u-lar level, right? S-O-U-L, a soul-u-lar level. It goes to the power of the emotions of the lives that we've lived many lifetimes. So we have this, it's a carry over. The soul lives, right? It's ongoing, it never dies, okay? The physical body, my personality, who I am right now, is simply just for this lifetime. My knowledge, if I can connect to my soul, if I step back, right, say, gee, get out of the way. Let the soul control. Step aside with the personality. Let the soul step up and guide me, all right? And that's what we're doing at this time. We are understanding that fear, the soul does not have fear. It is a fear of processing for the personality. The soul itself isn't controlled by the fear. The soul says, these are memories, these are things that you've experienced, but your personality has to learn how to deal with them when it's in the 3D realm, when it incarnates, okay? And so that's what this is, the nutshell of it, right? This is the compressed version, right? Pluto down here, okay? Very powerful, very intense. You're going to feel it, right? There's like a flame passes by, you know it's there, there's no denying it. At the opposite end is the Taurus energy, and Taurus is my desire. It's what I want. It's what I hold on to. Because Taurus, on a not so positive layer, is very stubborn and refuses to let go. This energy is all about releasing and letting go. Okay? Remember, Scorpio or Taurus holds on to because it's what I want. This is what I don't want, what I'm letting go of. That's what makes it the transformational energy. So where is this happening? It's happening at 17 degrees and 20 minutes in Scorpio, all right? So that means the moon is in Scorpio at 1720 and the sun is at 1720 in Taurus. That is what makes a full moon. It's an opposition, meaning planets at opposing ends, running along the same line of energy, but at opposing ends of each other. That is what an opposition is. And when it's the sun and the moon, that's what gives the power of the full moon. Because we've got, anytime planets are running along the same beam of energy, they're communicating. They're sending their energy to each other and lighting each other up. So the sun sends the power to the moon, which is emotions. This is why we have elevated emotions at every full moon. And then the moon sends its emotions to the sun. So you get a little bit of each on each end. You get it? So if you want to really understand what's going on and have a real good picture, you want to understand both areas of your life. How do we know that? We look at the both areas of your chart. We're going to do that. So typically, Aries ascendant, Aries rising, that means you're going to have Scorpio energy in your 8th house, okay? 8th house is my shared resources, okay? 8th house isn't something you do all alone. It's literally your energy that you share, how you bond with somebody else, the literal act of bonding itself. Some call this sex, but there's emotional bonds, okay? It's 8th house stuff, so it's not just a physical thing. It goes below the layers, which means people that you bond with in this house, people that you bond with in general, if you bond with them at this layer, on this level, these likely are souls that you have lots and lots of lifetimes with, lots of history with, okay? Opposite side of that would be your 2nd house. What I value, your Taurus energy. Your 2nd house is your income, your resources. Up here is my shared resources. So if it's my income, this is, yeah, I got a job and this is my money. If I'm over here, I'm married, and this is our resources, our shared resources. Typically your spouse's money. All right. Some people say it's the house of the inheritances. Like if your spouse should pass, there's insurance money, bam, you get the insurance payout. payout. This is what some people call this 8th house. Now, when we take it to the 5D level and we take the tangible 3D out of it, when we talk about that 8th house energy, well, Scorpio energy, Pluto energy, because it's the ruler, and that this is deeper than the material, tangible world. Okay, we're going down energetically to the soul layer, to the past lifetime layer. And this is likely going to be fear from other lifetimes. Now, you're aware of this fear in this lifetime because what happens is you have an experience in this life and it triggers this old wound, right? It triggers something that was so deeply buried, it took a current event to bring it up. And when it did, it was very hot, right? It was supercharged. Right? It was like sticking your finger on the wrong end of the battery. It was like, holy crap, you know, you get a surprise, you get a jolt, you're shocked by your emotions about something, or something happens and your reaction to it shocks you because the emotion is so deep and strong, right? And it's likely layers of lifetimes of emotion. Well, this full moon is a release, an official release. It's a reprogramming of our emotions. It is an official, any fears, it is time to cast them aside. That's the support we have at this time, okay? So keep this in mind. So this would be in the areas of shared money, shared resources, shared values, ways in which you share your energy with people, but not just anybody, right? These are people that you're very close to, people that you've created strong bonds with. Now, there's a little story that goes with this. It's about Buddha, okay? And I'm going to give you the little shortest version I can. Buddha typically was this very wealthy individual, born into a family of major wealth, came into the world, had nothing, didn't have a thing it needed, right? Buddha had everything you could ever ask for. What happened was, as he grew, he realized that people's desire for things or people or other people or expectations, events, whatever it is, it's our desire, our attachment to stuff. Okay, our attachment to an outcome even. That attachment is what brings you unhappiness, what brings you pain. And so this is a really wonderful message for right now because we're in a time of flux. We're in a time of change. We're in a time of transmutation where we are realizing things aren't what we thought they were. Okay, and in that ability to stay open and accepting of it's going to be different than what I thought. It's going to look different than what I thought. It's going to feel different than what I thought. We detach. We detach ourselves from our desires of how we think it should be, how we think it should look, or how it has to be. We detach ourselves to how our shared energy should be. The person that we bond with, the person that we relate to, we detach ourselves from the way in which we used to merge. Again, this can be physically, can be energetically, whatever that is. There's fear there. Recognize the fear. The fear, Pluto, Scorpio energy is very private because it's so deep, right? It's this, if I share this wound with you, I don't know how you're going to respond. And if you don't respond in a way in which I would like for you to respond, I don't think I could handle it. I think I would just crumble and fall apart, right? And so the fear of that alone grips us and has us, holds us. So this time is special. This is a time where Buddha literally comes down. Every year this happens, once a year. Once a year. It's called the Wesak full moon. It's the first full moon in May. Okay? Buddha literally comes down from above. Buddha's an ascended master. Okay? Buddha comes down and literally lowers his frequencies a bit so he can meet us halfway, basically. If we can raise our frequencies, get to a place where we're sitting still and where we can elevate and detach from our physical world, we can hopefully touch in with Buddha and receive some of his beams, some of his vibrations, some of his high radiations, right? And then that will help us to release, because that's what Buddha's all about. Buddha's here to help us release desires, help us to release our attachments. So this is a special opportunity, okay? Now, again, this has to do with your merging of others. Keep that in mind, all right? You know how that looks in your personal life. If you're new here, if you don't know what any of this means, if you need for someone to look at your chart, comment your digits below. I'd be more than happy to help you out. We enjoy new people. We love new people. All are welcome who come in a good way. You know, especially if you're confused or you feel like you're lost, comment your birth digits, all right? You can get on a path of your own self-knowledge. All right, that we are all of us are coming upon a time where it would be to our greatest advantage, especially for the rest of 2020 and for all of 2021, to be in a constant state of learning, of saying, you know what? Since all the shit we've been through and all the established structures in our lives are seemingly crumbling away and are gone now, I have to relearn things. And so if we were all just remember how we were when we were kids in school, when we went back and we were in primary school and we were like, okay, there's a teacher and I'm the student and it's time for me to learn again. Take that attitude. Be the open book, because this is what Buddha does. Connecting with Buddha will give you a clean slate, which means you'll have the ability to fill that slate up, right? To fill that piece of paper up, to fill up that notebook, to fill up your mind with new elevated thoughts, new ways of being, new ways of living, and you'll make new choices. And you will understand that when you see something you've never done before, it doesn't have to be viewed as a fear. It can be looked at as an opportunity, an exciting new adventure. And Aries, you know about adventure. You know about how exciting it is to discover something new about yourself. All right. So this is totally about diving into that fear mode, diving into it and rooting that crap out and saying, you know what, I'm done with you. You will no longer control me. And I'm taking control. I am allowing that, because I'm going to say to me, my personality, step aside, let go of all that fear, let go of all that falseness, and let the soul elevate and take control. Next is all the retrogrades. Saturn going retrograde, May 11th. This is an Aquarius energy. It happens at 1:57. Saturn goes all the way back to Capricorn. Okay, things are going to change for all of us. Now recognize on May 11th, when Saturn starts going backwards, days before, like today's already the 5th, so we're already feeling it. Days before a planet goes retrograde, it stands still. Now Saturn, remember keywords for Saturn. Saturn is, I'm giving you the new rules. When Saturn steps in, Saturn says, but I'm the person who makes the rules, and you are the one that has to follow the rules that I set. That is Saturn. Saturn says, I like to establish order. I like to organize things. Therefore, I have to have rules and regulations in place. And that's Saturn. And the only way to work with Saturn, okay, is to follow the rules. If you follow Saturn's rules, you will be rewarded. It's not an immediate reward, though. That's the thing about Saturn. It makes you build something over a long period of time. And if you were diligent, if you were persistent, if you were fair, if you followed the rules, if you didn't cheat, right? If you followed all the steps with high integrity, you didn't step on someone's back as you climbed up that ladder, you're going to get the rewards. This is how Saturn works. So understanding where that is in your chart is important, okay? It begins in your Aquarian energy, which is in your 11th house. This is your social circles. This is group energy of the 11th house, all right? This is the very individualistic house. This is, how am I the individual? How am I unique within the group? 11th house is also the internet. It's social media. So Saturn's going to stand still there, right? Which means when there's a standstill, after it stands still, it'll go backwards though. So there will be an easing after that. It won't seem as harsh. It'll change once it gets into the Capricorn energy. And this is going to happen at the end of June for you. Pay attention to that, all right? The end of June is going to be big, because we have Pluto and Jupiter conjunct together mid-June, roughly around like the 11th of June, I think I wrote down. I'll have updated videos for that at the time. And then Saturn at the butt end of June enters into Capricorn at 29 degrees. And when Saturn hit Capricorn at 29 degrees the first time in 2020, this is when all the rules began, right? This is when coronavirus became like, whoa, holy crap, what's going on? They're shutting the airlines down, right? They've closed off the country. They're, all of a sudden it's stay at home, right? Now I realize not all the states, but this is when we first started hearing more about the rules, because it was the material, physical, tangible world, right? And that's what Capricorn energy is. It's your material, physical, tangible world. It's also your work. It's your goals and it's your ambitions. All right, and this is in your 11th house. So this is important. It's going to go back to your 10th house, all right? Now, depending upon your birth time, all right, this could stay in your 11th, because it all has to do with where your rising is at. Without getting too technical, if you're not certain, just comment your birth digits below, or any questions you have. Even if you have your chart, just comment and I will help you out. Be the 13th of this month. That is Venus retrograde. Venus is retrograding in the sign of Gemini, which is a very rare thing that it's not retrograding, because it does that every year, but that it's in Gemini for like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months out of this year, which is huge. Let's understand Gemini energy. We have to dip deep into it for a moment, because Gemini has so many meanings. But remember, it's local trade. It's business. It's commerce. Okay. This is Gemini energy. It's learning. It's teaching. Okay. It's communication. It's speaking. It's thinking. All this is Gemini. When we put it in terms of people, right? Teachers, people, my neighbors, my peers, my local community. When we're young, we're the children. It's our siblings. So when you're adults, it can be co-workers, next door neighbors, okay? Understanding the Gemini energy, understanding that Venus going retrograde means we're going to kind of be re-evaluating our values in terms of all those things I just said that were Gemini keywords. If you don't remember, just rewind and they're all there for you. But Gemini energy, this whole rest of 2020 and all of 2021, understanding where that is for you. Your Gemini energy is in your third house is the same as is Gemini, okay? Gemini is how I network with people, right? When you were a kid, it was talking with siblings. As an adult, it's my neighbors, it's my coworkers. Gemini energy is the salesman, okay? It's the one who talks about what they know. What do salespeople do? They sell you something. Does it have to be a tangible something? No. I could be selling you an idea. I could be selling you a belief, right? I could be selling you something. That's Gemini energy. Talking, communicating, relating, thinking, how I think. We're all going to be rethinking our values on what we have. What do we have that we can make money off of? And it's going to be very local, right? I think of farmers markets, communities like that, right? Things within your town, short journeys, right? Walking in the town, driving down the street, but not long journeys. The North Node's going to be here, all right? The North Node's already going to be at 2946, which means this is an emphasis of life for the next 18 months. The next 18 months of your life. Your third house is like blowing up. Having Venus there is nice. It means money and sales because that's Venus. Venus is my income, my resources. So if it's going through your third house, speaking, talking, thinking, relating, networking with people, very beneficial. But remember to always be in a constant state of learning. Either you're going to be the teacher, you're going to be the student, or you're going to be both, right? Taking an attitude of both is going to get you the most. Keep that in mind. Now let's speed up to the 14th, right? Whoop-de-doo. This is Jupiter going retrograde. This happens in Capricorn energy. It begins at 27 degrees Capricorn. Your Capricorn energy is going to be all the way over in your 10th house. Your 10th house is your ambitions and your goals. It's career for some folks, okay? What is it that's important to you? What is your highest hopes, goal, and ambition in the world? It is where you express your best. You're very confident here. I'm talking like you think, doesn't matter how high, you will get there. You don't know how, you don't need to know how, you will get there, right? This is you, Aries, all right? Capricorn energy, this is Jupiter. Jupiter expands things. Jupiter does not do real well here because Jupiter is air, all right? Capricorn is the 3D realm. It's our structured stuff. Jupiter doesn't really function within the structures. Jupiter doesn't like rules. Jupiter, matter of fact, breaks all rules and boundaries. Jupiter goes beyond them. Jupiter is very futuristic thinking. Capricorn is like, no, this is the here, this is the now, this is the 3D, the tangible. I know this exists because I can hold it, I can touch it, I can see it. This is Capricorn, okay? Capricorn is like, okay, this is common sense. It's in front of me. I know its role. I know what it can and can't do. Jupiter is more like, no, I am so beyond that. I'm what you can't see. I am your beliefs. I can't hold the belief in my hand, right? Jupiter is my religion, my philosophy. So Jupiter is retrograding. It's going to go backwards. This is your 10th house. So you are doing lots of work because this is where Pluto is. This is where Saturn's going to be entering come the end of June, going into July. It will be spending the rest of 2020 in your 10th house. You will have Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto together, right? Especially come November. November is going to be big for all of us because Saturn is getting to a point where she is about to get very close to Jupiter and Pluto. And so that's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting when we think about how in the Western world, the month of November and Black Friday is a big deal for a lot of businesses and merchants, and Capricorn energy is businesses. It is our structured businesses, our brick and mortar stores. So change is here to stay. All right, folks. All that is going to take a much bigger change when we hit the end of the year, because then we will have in December, roughly, we're going to have Jupiter and Saturn holding hands together, going back into Aquarian energy. And this is a whole new worldview. Things are going to be very different. Remember, Aquarian energy is the people. Aquarian energy is flight. Aquarian energy is also scientists. It's astrology. Aquarian energy is the future, but it's thinking outside of the box. It is the sign of the inventor. Okay, so when we think of science and inventions, this is really good energy for coronavirus, right? Coming up with a vaccine, right? Whether the vaccine will be, whether we'll actually have access to it, that's a whole different thing altogether, which myself personally would not want to have access to anything that just got on the market personally. This Jupiter and Saturn together, Jupiter can function here because in Aquarian energy, it's air. And so when it goes with Saturn hand in hand, Jupiter is the law, okay? Jupiter, it's not law as in police officer, physical law, like I enforce laws. Jupiter is, no, I make the laws. Right? That's Jupiter energy, right? And so Saturn, at this point, Saturn likes to set up structures. And Jupiter expands things. And it will be able to expand because it'll be in air. It'll be in Aquarius energy. And it's with the people. But some way, somehow, things are going to be very fast. It's going to be almost as if overnight things are going to be changing, right? All of a sudden our ideas about traveling, because air, right? Air is travel, our thinking, our ability to connect, right? We're going to have covered lots of ground and make lots of leeway. Your Aquarian energy, of course, is your 11th house. So this, again, is your energy with your groups. Now, 11th house group energy, knowing it's the internet, this is going to be a time where internet is going to be big for you. Not just for you, but for all of us, but it is in your 11th house. You have a concentration of your energy. When I talked about your Gemini energy, that being in your 3rd house, social media, networking, internet, and sales is big with the 3rd house. It's big with Gemini. Gemini is all about, I'm on Facebook doing this, right? The internet is, when we talk about the 11th house, it's the scientific part of it, right? I'm the programmer, right? Because I can think beyond the tangible 3D. I can connect in with the mind of God. That's literally what this Uranian Aquarian energy is. And so we get these great downloads of information. And so at that time, I would expect to see some very innovative advancements for humanity. All right. These full moon ceremonies are about releasing that which we no longer desire. And this particular full moon is the most potent full moon of the year because of the ascended masters coming in and literally trying to connect with the mind of man. All right. So I'm having a ceremony and I am taking words, I'm taking intentions, I am taking prayers from those who want to be involved. All you got to do in the comments below, put your name and put the one word. I mean, if it's more than one word, like 2 words or 3 at the most, because I write these on these little things, and we put tobacco with them. We wrap them up with cotton. You know, we pull in a lot of the Native American customs. We make our intentions. We involve the earth, the air, the fire, right? We involve all of the elements, right? We involve the water, and we put our prayers out there to the Creator. We put our prayers up there to the universe, that these are intentions of things in which we are releasing. All right. And so I will be building a huge fire this time. It's interesting, right before this video, I was getting this information of this fire has to be bigger than usual because there's so much fear that needs to be burned away. And so I plan on doing that. I'm planning on starting early and probably having a fire for much more longer than normal. But again, just comment your stuff below, and I would love to be able to invite you to be part of the ceremony, because as a unit, as a community, we understand we shall rise together. I hope this has put some light upon your path. Bye.